Rubber ducky, you're the one.
For over 30 years, rock legends, jazz greats, and pop superstars have come to one street to dance. Sing about numbers.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Letters.
That's the letter O. Yo. How I miss my ex.
And give the 5 and under set a shot of self-esteem.
Be the best that you can be.
With the power of music.
Mama, it's so proud of me.
You're feeling that pride.
In the process, musicians made TV history and a lasting impact on 2 generations. Get ready for a musical journey through the alphabet as VH1 Save the Music teams up with Noggin, home of classic Sesame Street.
Bert is it.
It's the greatest TV moments. Sesame Street music A
Agua.
to Z.
1, 2, 3. Sesame, Sesame.
Sunny day, sweeping the clouds away.
I like seeing how Sesame Street keeps itself updated.
They teach them the basics of real simple values.
I sit there with my 4.5-year-old daughter, and I get hung up on it.
To Sesame Street.
Since the letters W, S, and E and numbers 2 and 3 sponsored the first Sesame Street broadcast in November of 1969, music has been key to the program's educational mission.
Sometimes I say hola. Sometimes I say hello.
You do.
Some brilliant person made the observation years ago that kids were humming along with jingles.
Did you guess which thing is not like the other things? Did you guess with all your might?
Why not put some real information into a jingle?
You know what? You know what? You're right. Oh, you're absolutely right. You're so smart.
We wanted to do music that was real music, that parents and older siblings would like, as well as the kids.
That when you're feeling down or misunderstood, a little crack can do you good.
I'm laying down on the couch watching Sesame Street with my 4.5-year-old, because hearing her laugh, just big belly laughs at some of the things, is so cute, but it is so educational. I'm sitting there catching up on my math, and my ABCs.
Daddy, appears to me that you could use a little help.
Oh, that's right. It's LMNOP.
C is for cookie. That's good enough for me.
From opera to country,
Thunderation, it's Johnny K.
reggae to pop,
And the world belongs to you and me.
Sesame Street is all about musical expression.
Sesame Street is very important because it exposes young children to music at very early ages. And what our research has shown is that that kind of early exposure improves spatial skills that are used in understanding fractions and ratios.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I was just amazed at all the great guest stars that they had on Sesame Street, like all these really cool people.
Starting with A, it's time to take a look at the array of musical talent that came to Sesame Street. A stands for the alphabet song and the artists who made it their own.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K,
L, M, N, O, P.
Q, R, S, T, U, V.
W, X, Y, and Z.
I don't think I could have said the alphabet without singing the song. And all that came from Sesame Street.
So listen to me one more time. A, B.
These people that have all kinds of different music careers, from Tony Bennett to REM or something, will come on our show and do their thing, but they're still teaching our curriculum. It's thrilling.
B is for Brooks, Garth Brooks, music's top-selling solo artist. Garth made his second visit to Sesame Street in 1999.
Whoa, 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 la, 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 oh boy,
was also for Billy, piano man Billy Joel. In 1989, Billy and actress Marlee Matlin transformed one of his classics into a lesson of love and acceptance.
State your name, then beat it.
Don't go changing just to please me. You've done it pretty well so far.
Oh, compliments. This is getting pretty sticky.
I took the bad times. I'll take the worst times. I'll take you just the way you are.
Where I am, huh? Huh, I'll change that.
The song was about empowering people that might be, children that might be handicapped, accepting them just the way you are, but it's also saying that we accept Oscar just the way he is.
Never hug a crap. You're kissing me.
Over the years, several Sesame Street tunes have become Billboard hits. In 1973, the Carpenters took Sing to number 3 on the pop charts. C is for Cookies! No, Carpenters. Written by Sesame Street's original music director Joe Raposo, Sing was never meant for the top 40.
He knew he had written something really nice. I think he told us he spent about 10 minutes on the chorus, which, as you know, is just la 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 la.
I looked at Karen, I said, I think this thing's a hit. She agreed. A&M just hated it. Oh, they hated it.
Just sing a song.
It was a hit. And some people can't stand it.
With a melodic message that everyone and anyone can make music, Sing is Sesame Street at its creative and inclusive best.
Sing, sing a song.
Moving down the alphabet, D stands for diversity, and jazz great Dizzy Gillespie, who brought bebop cool to the street in 1984.
To have someone like Dizzy Gillespie on Sesame Street, it was genius. It was classic, and it was great when the little girls, you know, her little eyes were just like fixated on him. And to watch the little kids listening to his music and being so mesmerized as his cheeks puffed up, and it was so cool.
A monster who loved triangles.
Sesame's resident innocent, Elmo, and his Muppeteer Kevin Clash see the range of music styles as an important part of the experience.
We get to sing a lot of different varieties of different songs, and of course Elmo loves to sing, yeah.
La 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 la, la 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 la, Elmo song. See? Elmo loves to sing.
Elmo is an E. Another exciting E led a conga line down Sesame Street in 1991. E stands for Estefan. Cuban-born diva Gloria Estefan.
Everybody, gather round now. Let your body feel the beat.
She was wearing this little tiny, cute little outfit. And usually I wear an apron because I work in the fix-it shop. And I teased her and I said, oh, you know, on Sesame Street you have to wear an apron as well. And she said, okay, fine, I'll be perfectly happy to wear an apron.
Gloria didn't wear an apron, but she did add a jacket to her outfit.
Come on, let's shake our shoulders here.
Parodying popular songs has been an irresistible way to communicate Sesame Street's curriculum through the lens of pop culture.
She's a cereal girl. Cereal girl. She's a cereal girl.
They've had some great little spoofs on music over the years.
But kids like you and me, baby, we were born to add.
Now, the kids had no idea that it was Bruce Springsteen we were parodying, not if they were the 1- and 2-year-olds at the bottom of our audience. But certainly older kids and parents would get that joke. And they say, my gosh, they're doing Bruce Springsteen. I love this. It's funny. And that would make parents and kids happily watch together. And we found over and over again with real educational research that when parents and kids watch together, they talk about the show later and they talk about the adding that was in the Born to Add song. And the kids learn a lot more.
You're it, Bert.
With help from Bert and Ernie, Big Bird, and all the other Muppets, Sesame Street songs have played a vital role in educating kids.
It's not any trouble, you know it's a W when you hear whoop, 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 whoop. One more time.
Sesame Street became part of the fabric of our life. It's what you watched when you were watching television that Mom liked and you liked, and that was a great thing.
Wonderful.
F stands for Faith, as in Grammy winner Faith Hill and her cowboy better half, Tim McGraw.
So take a turn. Yeah, take a long turn. Take your time, 'cause I'm as happy as can be. The thing I've learned about a turn is that a good turn always comes on back to me.
But they were sweet. I mean, you can see how much they love each other. And we had a really nice time with them.
Hi, Goo Goo Dolls.
Hey, Elmo.
The letter G stands for the Goo Goo Dolls, who provided the perfect rock and roll dose of self-esteem with a Sesame Street take on their hit Slide.
Elmo whisper in my ear, I really want to hear the things you did today that satisfied you.
Elmo reached the highest shelf. He got just by himself. And Elmo wants to say he's filled with pride, yeah.
When you've done the best you could. And you feel really, really good.
Yeah.
You're feeling that pride.
Pride!
Yeah. You gotta feel that pride.
The band has made music education a priority, even helping collect instruments on the Today Show for VH1 Save the Music.
Being on Sesame Street, why'd you decide to do that show?
Because it was just really cool. I mean, we grew up watching Sesame Street, and it was just something we always wanted to do.
When you've done the best you could. You feel really, really good.
Now the Goo Goo Dolls have people who are listening to their music that are not only like 21 through like 40, but also now they have like 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds who will probably hear their song on the radio and go, Mommy, those are the guys from Sesame Street. I mean, how smart is that?
You'd always be.
I'm a feeling that nothing can stop
H
it.
is for Hootie and the Blowfish. Frontman Darius Rucker went solo for this TV moment.
Come on, let me see you smile. We'll take a walk together, cross the road a while, 'cause I am here for you. I am here for you. And I will cross with you. Don't go to cross with you and hold my hand.
Seeing it with my daughter and having her, just lose her mind. I mean, she couldn't believe Daddy was, with Elmo. Are you friends with Elmo? Yes, I'm friends with Elmo. It was wonderful. Wonderful experience. One of my favorite things we've ever done.
I'm gonna help you the best that I can.
Rucker's trip to Sesame Street wasn't his only nod to the power of music. Hootie and the Blowfish are big supporters of VH1 Save the Music. They've helped get music instruments into the hands of kids.
Sure, they have the numbers that prove that it makes you study better or become smarter if you learn music, but at the same time I think it's that feeling of learning an instrument and being able to be creative that really, really helps. And if that's not in schools, then it's going to be a lot harder for kids to find it.
That is one cool cat.
One of Sesame Street's most poignant moments came with the 1981 appearance of a classical music legend. I is for Itzhak Perlman.
The most unique thing about Sesame Street is, first of all, that it bridges worlds.
You know, some things that are really easy for you are real hard for me.
It's like you get an opportunity to see people from all different walks of life.
Yeah, but some things are easy for you that are hard for me.
Sesame Street assumes and wants people to know that children and adults live in the same world. And everybody has difficulties sometimes.
J is for Johnny Cash, who made his first appearance on Sesame Street in 1973.
Who goes there?
You like it.
Old Nasty Dan was the meanest man I ever knew.
He'd stomp and scream and be real mean the whole day through.
19 years later, the man in black dropped by the neighborhood again. This time, he got a surprise from the casting crew.
You really told a whopper and told it mighty well.
Everybody decided to wear black because he wears black, and he didn't know. He had no idea. So he stepped into the studio of Sesame Street, and everybody, all the crew, the cast, the puppeteers, everybody wore black.
Well, ma'am, you do have to admit it sounds a bit far-fetched.
Letter K stands for Kermit the Frog.
Hello there, this is Kermit the Frog at Sesame Street News.
The Muppet voice of reason, Kermit sang one of the most memorable and enduring songs to debut on Sesame Street.
It's not that easy being green.
It's terribly powerful. There's a really powerful racial message in Being Green.
Teaming up with legendary Lena Horne, Being Green sent a powerful message of racial acceptance that was rare for children's programming at the time.
Green can be big like an ocean or important like a river.
It's Not Easy Being Green was one of the times that I was most proud to be part of this organization.
Like a tree.
My mom was talking to us about it, and she said, just imagine if instead of saying green, they said black.
I'm green. It'll do fine.
It's beautiful. And I think it's what I want to be.
This is making me feel pretty good about my mom right now, because she was really trying to give us a little lesson, I guess.
L is for Little Richard.
Well, here I am in my tubby again. And my tub is all filled with water and nice fluffy suds, honey.
Who brought a boogie-woogie edge to a classic.
Rubber ducky, you're the one. You make bath time lots of fun. Rubber ducky, I'm awfully fond of you. Rubber ducky, joy of joys. When I squeeze you, you make noise. Rubber ducky, you're my very best friend, it's true.
Rubber Ducky, I think, had a lot to do with the early success of Sesame Street.
Every day when I make my way to the tubby, I find a little fella who is cute and yellow and chubby.
Rubber Ducky, you're the one.
As Ernie, Muppet creator Jim Henson made the tune famous on Sesame Street's first album.
There was a disc jockey out in California who fell in love with the song and started playing it on a show, and they began to get requests.
The novelty song caught on with college kids, eventually hitting number 16 on the Billboard chart in 1970. It was Sesame Street's first top 40 hit.
This is brought to you by the letters V and H and the number 1. Yay! Music!
VH1 Save the Music and Noggin, home to classic episodes of Sesame Street, are going through the alphabet. It's the greatest TV moments, Sesame Street music A to Z.
Now I know my ABCs. Next time Cookie Monster can do it with you. I'm leaving.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thanks.
M is for Menudo and Little Ricky Martin. This 1985 bilingual sing-along was one of Ricky's first American television appearances.
Back then it was all a game. I was only 12 years old and I would act like if I was 8. I remember that I would teach how to say agua. Agua.
Sí, es agua.
Agua.
Agua. Forget about the educating part. I was more impressed about being able to see the puppets and the people that I would watch all the time on Sesame Street.
You're playing games and now you're hitting my heart like a drum. Yeah, baby.
15 years later, the Puerto Rican-born sensation is still spreading the word of multiculturalism.
the most important thing is for me to present my culture and get rid of all those cliches and stereotypes that unfortunately exist with the Latin American culture.
Ricky told VH1's Rebecca Rankin after all these years, there's one Sesame Street song that stands out for him.
I always wanted that song to be played again and again.
I love you.
Here's letter N, In Sync.
Live from Sesame Street, it's NSYNC!
Oh, you can be what you wanna be, see what you wanna see. Believe in yourself, just believe in yourself. You can go where you wanna go, do what you wanna do. Believe in yourself, just believe in yourself.
NSYNC, I mean, of course they grew up with Sesame Street. And they had a great time. See, they want to see the street, you know, because they've seen the street, and now they're actually at Sesame Street, so they want to see Mr. Hooper's store. They want to see, you know, 1, 2, 3 Sesame Street. They want to see Oscar's Can. You know, all of the stuff they grew up with.
Before the well-coiffed hunks left the set, they had one little request.
They had me put Elmo's voice on all of their answer machines on their cell phones and stuff, which was kind of fun.
So if you ring up Lance, Justin, JC, Chris, or Joey on their cell, you might just hear,
Hello, you have reached one of the NSYNC boys. If you'd like to leave a message, please do so after the tone. Beep. Just kidding. Oh.
O stands for Oklahoma. Here's Ray Charles' rendition of a Rodgers and Hammerstein classic.
What a beautiful morning. Yes, what a wonderful day, y'all. Look out there. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything going my way today. Y'all come on now.
Ray Charles is the main musical memory I have from seeing Sesame Street when I was a kid.
Oh, the cattle are standing like statues.
He just had this energy, and the way he moved around, and he could sing and play the piano at the same time.
They don't turn their heads as they see me ride by.
What does a 4-year-old know or a 5-year-old know who Ray Charles is or what his legacy has been? They do know that it's talent. You don't have to be sophisticated to feel talent and to know that someone is speaking to you.
I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything going my way.
I think it was my great-grandmother who said, you know he's blind, right? And this was just amazing to me. I had a million questions about that, about how could he play the piano? How did he get to Sesame Street if he was blind?
I want to thank you, little girl, for such a wonderful day.
In the 70s, disco was everywhere, even on Sesame Street.
Me lost me cookie at the disco. Me lost me cookie in the boogie music.
It was also a time of social upheaval, and the show reflected the mood of the country.
P.
P stands for Pointer Sisters, who brought soul power to the street in 1975.
I know we can make it. I know that we can. I know darn well we can work it out. Work it out.
Oh, yes, we can, yes, we can. Why can't we if we want to get together?
With the Black Power movement in full swing, the Sister Act from Oakland sent an uplifting message.
Just gotta try a little harder, raise the children like we ought to. They'll know just what it's all about. Don't you know we can work it out?
The Pointer Sisters doing Sesame Street was basically like a big confirmation for African American girls who wanted to maybe grow up and see themselves in a position of being like glamorous and intelligent.
Q. The letter Q stands for Queen, hip-hop's Queen Latifah, who made her Sesame Street debut in 1993.
I got my Safari sisters with me, Mary and Prairie.
Oh, yeah!
about to get into this tune about the letter. What's the name of that letter? Oh yeah, that's the letter O.
That's the letter O.
That's the letter O.
That's the letter O.
That's the letter. That's the letter. That's the letter O.
Back then, hip-hop was not what hip-hop is today.
Chilling on Sesame Street, hanging with my homegirls, rocking to the beat. When Telly came along and he was feeling kind of blue, he said,
I lost my letter O, what should I do?
And here's Sesame Street. I mean, they just embraced it. They weren't afraid.
Finds a mouse like a bee finds honey, or a joke we find funny. Trust in the queen, cause I'm on the money.
R. Spelling our way through the alphabet, this is the greatest TV moments. Sesame Street music A to Z. Letter R stands for REM and a lesson on feeling.
Furry, happy monsters laughing.
Oh, that's great!
Monsters having fun.
REM frontman Michael Stipe wasn't exactly shiny and happy when he got to the set.
I'd had a horrible day. I woke up with horrible nightmares and wretched nightmares, and I was so distressed that I didn't shave. I look like I'm 80 years old.
Flashing a big smile, that's a perfect sign.
Fortunately, the grouchy pop star was no match for Elmo.
What I thought was really sweet is when I put on Elmo and started talking to him, I finally saw a smile come over his face, which was really nice.
Furry, happy monsters feeling glad.
Happy monsters feeling glad.
Furry, happy monsters laughing. Something has gone wrong.
We wanted to talk about happy, sad, and we had the characters change from one to the other, back and forth, right before the eyes of the group.
Crying, crying, hear them sob and whine. Cheerful, cheerful, that's a real good sign that they're feeling glum. Sad, sad times have come.
The emotional workout of Furry Happy Monsters scored another point for the benefits and the power of early music education.
What it does is it puts children more in touch with their own feelings they may not readily feel without it, and gives them a mode of expressing those feelings.
Come on, monsters. You don't have to cry. We can be happy.
Spelling our way through the alphabet, this is the greatest TV moments. Sesame Street music A to Z. S is for Paul Simon. On his first visit to Sesame Street in 1977, he received an overwhelming response from one little girl.
The power of music. When you watch her, she really wants to get into it, and even though she doesn't know all the lyrics, she doesn't care.
Mama Johnny rolled out of bed, she ran to the police station. When the papa found out, he began to shout, he started the investigation. And it's against the law, it was against the law. What the mama saw, it was against the law.
S also stands for Spin Doctors. In a take on Two Princes, Zoe learns about cooperation.
Two princes ask her for a play date. Let's have some fun now. Each one wants to be your only playmate. Says I'm the one now. One prince says,
Hey, my toys are so good that you'll adore them.
One says,
that stuff he's got is no good, so just ignore
Guest starring on Sesame Street was like the pinnacle of my career so far. Personally, it was a huge deal for me. I watched that show. That show was started the year I was born, so I watched it, all my life. And I actually was the one who said, hey, see if they want us to do Sesame Street.
It's almost cold now.
But then you had a really good idea, you said.
Have you got the simple notion in your head? Have either of you fellas stopped to think of whether the three of us could all join up and play together? The three of us could all join up and play together.
The Spin Doctors were thrilled to work with the Muppets.
I said to Telly, this Muppet, I'm like, I've never worked with puppets before. And he puts his hand on my arm and goes, neither have I.
Cooperation!
We're cooperating!
T is for Taylor, James Taylor. On his 1982 visit, Sesame Street reworked one of his hits for another lesson on cooperation.
Oh, whenever I see your grouchy face, it makes me want to smile because I like you just a little bit. And when you give me that nasty little frown, it turns me upside down. Something about you was I don't know. Isn't it amazing that a grouch could make me feel this way? But a face that looks so rotten can't be forgotten in a day.
Taylor has always been a voice for the power of music. In conjunction with Music in Our Schools Month and VH1 Save the Music's national partners, the singer-songwriter met with members of Congress.
It's important to make the music, not just to listen to it, but to go through the process of learning to generate that self-created thing.
Heading on down the alphabet, U takes a whole new meaning for Smokey Robinson and his hit, You Really Got a Hold on Me.
U stands for uptight, that's how I'm feeling. Being grabbed by a letter is unappealing. Though I want to flee now, I can't get free now. You really got a hold on me.
After Smokey's appearance, the crooner experienced the impact of his performance firsthand.
He kept seeing this little kid looking at him, but looking like behind him. Kept looking. And Smokey finally went over to the kid and said, you okay? What, you have a question? He said, yeah, where's your you?
11 years later, the letter U made a comeback for Melissa Etheridge in what may be the sexiest moment to hit Sesame Street.
Oh, I love your sound. And have I ever told you that I'd be upset if you left the alphabet? That's why I hold you. Oh, you. Like
she really loves that letter U.
You stand for understanding, for up and undemanding, and you stand for underwear, for ugly and unfair. And I don't know any letter who makes the us sound better than the letter U. V, V, V.
V stands for In Vogue.
In Vogue was known for being like the sexiest women in the country. I mean, they had these bodies. They had the hair, the lips, the lipstick, the 5-inch heels.
Here we go.
The group's seductive style was toned down, but not their performance.
And built out just below a huge tall mountain.
We kept adding things to their costume, a little padding here in the wrong places. They still looked absolutely wonderful.
Adventure. We swear to do adventure. Our stories true.
Only 4 letters to go as VH1 Save the Music and Noggin, the first and only 24-hour commercial-free thinking network for kids, celebrate the greatest TV moments. Sesame Street Music A to Z.
Don't dance.
If you were watching in 1973, you know that W stands for Wonder, as in the explosive Motown sounds of Stevie Wonder.
Very superstitious. Writings on the wall. Very superstitious.
the children on the show reacted. One kid just kept twirling his head around. He was so excited.
That was very early in the life of the show, and I think we were still getting used to the idea that the show was a big hit, much less an institution.
We were living in very idealistic times, and we really thought that we were going to make a big change in society, and we were going to help children, and we were going to start out by having Stevie Wonder on the show.
That spirit has paid off. Sesame Street continues to be a positive influence for children.
It's a very special program because it really brings so many aspects of early child development into music.
It has tremendous academic integrity combined with unbelievable entertainment value. And they've done it for 30 years, which is probably a record somewhere.
The letter X may be tough for some kids, but for R&B queen Patti LaBelle, X was a letter she couldn't get out of her head.
When the moon shines high and the purple clouds roll by, oh, how I miss my ex. When my memories stray to the dreams of yesterday, not one of my friends suspects.
Why? Y stands for Your Neighborhood. In an inspired casting move, actor Ben Stiller made his Sesame Street singing debut in The Neighborhood in 1998.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's sing.
Ben, what are you dressed as?
I'm a person in the neighborhood. I'm a cheese.
Cheese?
Yeah. A cheese is a really great fella. You call me Swiss Brie or mozzarella. I'm a really, really tasty dish. Try melting me on tuna fish. Cause a cheese is a person in your neighborhood.
Cheese isn't a person.
In your neighborhood.
Is it?
In your neighborhood. Oh, a cheese is a person in your neighborhood. A person that you meet when you're walking down the street. A person that you meet each day.
Z stands for Ziggy. Ziggy Marley, son of reggae legend Bob Marley, brought the island sound and a message of self-confidence to a Rastified Sesame Street.
I am the smallest person on Sesame Street, I bet. Oh, and I do not like it.
She doesn't like it.
Oh, it is Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers, here to make me feel better.
She doesn't like it.
Small people won't stay small for long. Today you're still a little one. Tomorrow you'll grow up strong. And if you think you're not big enough, well, you are wrong. Don't care how short or tall you are. Don't care how large or small you are. The most important thing by far, what's inside you, oh yeah.
How many little kids live in the suburbs and don't see anyone outside of their immediate environment, and then they turn on Sesame Street and they see someone like Ziggy Marley with dreadlocks?
The world go round, the world go round.
Oh, but Bert, wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
Wasn't that great to get all that exercise?
Terrific, yeah.
Aren't you glad you played that game?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
For over 3 decades, Sesame Street has been bringing numbers, letters, life lessons, and cultural diversity through the magic of music.
We had the chance on Sesame Street to use music from all different cultures and all different kinds, and that kids would be exposed to music they might never hear otherwise.
Educators confirm music should be an integral part of any preschool education.
Research has shown that children that are exposed to music at early ages score higher on spatial tasks that relate to understanding mathematical fractions and ratios.
Sesame Street's innovative use of music as a learning tool lays the groundwork for a life of creative discovery.
I think it's very beautiful. helped me to have a very healthy childhood.
You told me you could count. You said there's nothing to it. Well, if you're so good at counting, let me hear you do it.
And it provides this love of music they'll have through their entire lives. So even children that don't score higher, you know, on SATs or on spatial tasks, stand to benefit from music programs.
To put it in rock star terms,
Sesame Street is one of the greatest things that has ever been made for TV.
Come on, let me hear you count again now. 1, 2, 3. Higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You went higher. Count it higher. Count it higher. Count it. Ah. Count it higher.
Sesame Street Music Works, a public service initiative encouraging children to grow and learn with music. And for more information on VH1 Save the Music, call 1-888-VH1-4-MUSIC or log on to vh1savethemusic.com.